Stampers, this is Karen Phillip. Today I'm going to show you how to make this pretty card. I got this idea from someone online, I just don't remember who it was. And they did different color scheme. It was in pinks, and when I did it, it looked like blood, so we're going to blue. This is the card close up, and I'm calling this Ink, Daub, and Spritz. I'm sure there's a better name for it, but that's what I'm calling it. It's not necessarily a new technique, but it's sort of fun. And here is what your sample will look like for club members. If you're interested in learning about the club, just go to my website, zgrandmakaren.com, and you can look for more details or check out or just send me an email. Let's get started. So for this card, you will need, well, for club members, you have to use your own stamps for this one. I use Mountain Air, that's the trees in here because they were detailed. And I figured when I was making this card, everybody has an evergreen stamp. I did not, I only had this one, so it was sort of funny. Lovely as a tree works, any kind of trees will actually work for this, but the pine trees work well. There are a couple in the mini catalog that are current now that you might want to consider as well. But there's also a little grunge on there, and these are the little dots that I use from Forever Fern. So let's get started. This is a very fun technique. It can be messy, but not too bad. So I just took two of the stamps from the Mountain Air, and you can use, this has two trees and this has a single tree, and I kind of intermix them. So I'm using a piece of watercolor paper, and it's 3 by 4. It's 3 by 4. So to do this, I'm using Balmy Blue. Any light color blue will work, and Night and Navy. Again, any darker color will work, and you don't have to do it in blues, but this worked well. So you need a dauber for this, hence it's stamps, what do I call it? Ink, Daub, Spritz. So I'm going to take the two trees, stamp it in Balmy Blue, take the Night Navy, daub it in the navy, and just randomly have a couple spots of navy. You won't be able to see it real well. Now let's see if I can do this in this small area without making a mess. So when you spritz, you want to, this is just water, not rubbing alcohol or anything. So you go about 6 inches away, and you want to make sure that the nozzle is facing your image. I've thought I've done that before, and I sprayed myself in the face. So you just spritz it once. Oops, and I kind of missed, but that's okay. If you try spritzing it again, it gets a big blob in the middle. So let's see how this one worked out. You can kind of see the way the image is going to show, the way that it's nice with the clear stamps, the photopolymer. So you still got a little watercolor kind of look in the middle, and yet you still have some definition, so it was just enough. Now you have to wipe off the stamp because you're using a darker color. You used a darker color on the stamp, and you don't want to put the stamp back in the light color. So I'm wiping it off with just a baby wipe. Now I'll stamp it back in the light blue, Balmy Blue, daub it, and then we'll spritz it, again about 6 inches away. Let's see if I can do it straight this time. Ooh, that one got good. Okay, and then I'm going to move it over a little bit more. It's got a little dauber mark in the middle. But see, this one had a little more navy on it, so it's darker, but it's still pretty. And we'll do one more with this size. Daub it, or ink it. Daub it, and Spritz. There, so that one got a totally different look as well. Now I'm going to take my skinnier tree, and you don't have to switch trees, but it just gives it a little different interest. So now I have the skinny tree, and we will daub it, spritz it. Oops, kind of missed. That one I totally missed. Got my hand. There we go. And put that in the center, and you can see how pretty that one turned out. And then you can also stamp off, and see that leaves kind of a shadowy look. Clean it, stamp it, daub it. Now this one, I'm not going to spritz, and I'll show you what that one looks like. I'm going to put that one on the end if you don't spritz it. It's still a nice look, but it's not the watercolor look. I did this one right here. So I guess it depends on what you're looking to do, but because this is the watercolor kind of technique, we're going to spritz the next one. I just wanted to show you what it would look like if you didn't spritz. Okay, now it'll be darker. And now we're going to spritz. Oops, I missed it again. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to put this one right here. And that's really pretty. I like that one. So that's really all you do for these. Now, this one is sort of wet and kind of really undefined. So what you can do is wipe off your stamp. I'm going to close up this blue. And I'm just using the navy, and I'm stamping over it, and it just gives it a little bit more something to cover up that way watery color part, so it doesn't look like a big blob. So there's just a couple little extra tips in there if you're not liking the look that you're getting, or you can flip it over and start over. But that's basically how you do the technique. And oops, I need this. Then what I did is I took the little grunge dots, and I just sort of randomly put those on, and it finished off the card nicely. You could also spritz some, there's ways to do it with a toothbrush or other spritzing things, but I like to stamp, then I know it's going to work. Okay, so now we'll just put the card together quickly, and that's easy to do. I just have a piece of Misty Moonlight and a little piece of black, and this is just a 2 by 3.5 inch piece of black. And that just goes on the left. And I did use some Tombow glue to adhere the watercolor paper because it sort of absorbs the ink or the glue. So this way you're sure that it will stay on. So I just centered that like that, well, more to the right. And then I have a Thinking of You sentiment. Again, I'm using the glue, and that kind of goes right here. And it's always good to have a mixture of 3, like I have black, and there's only 2 here, so it looks like it needs something. So to tie the 3 blacks together, I'm using these black pearls that we have, and I'll put those on. I'm just putting 3 on the bottom, and then that just ties it together. And they'll all look different, but they're also pretty, and you could try them with different colors, but these are the colors that I used on this card. And that's it for this technique. So I hope you enjoyed learning how to do this. And thanks for watching and have a great day.